Hi, I'm Jodi-Anne, a wellbeing educator and healing facilitator. I've channeled over 100 answers to questions about life. These have been recorded through automatic writing, answering a broad range of questions about life and how it works, and how we can be peaceful and happy. Today's topic is how to heal from emotional abuse. Join me as we explore this topic and go deep within to heal and find peace. Emotional abuse is just as devastating as physical or sexual abuse. It damages the psyche and deeply affects a person's self-worth and feeling of safety. It leaves individuals afraid to interact with others and sets up a condemning pattern inside where they repeat the abuse to themselves by calling themselves less than loving names and treating themselves in less than loving ways. While devastating at any age, emotional abuse while a young child, 0 to 6 years of age, is the most damaging, as this is when children simply believe and absorb anything they are told. It goes straight into their subconscious programming, and they are conditioned to act it out their whole life unless they learn how to change their subconscious beliefs. Such negative conditioning can have devastating effects throughout their life. If they are told that they are ugly, unwanted, not needed, not liked, a failure, hopeless, or that the problems others are facing are their fault, then the person will believe it, and subconsciously they'll play it out in their life, at school, at work, and in their relationships. When things are going well, this subconscious conditioning, so it's not conscious thought, you're not choosing it, it's subconscious automatic process that occurs, will cause them to act out and self-sabotage. If they're on the brink of success and the conditioning is that they believe they are a failure, then they're going to find it very uncomfortable to succeed. Most likely, they might fail shortly thereafter, if not before. So they might get the promotion that they've gone through, but then find that they can't cope with the job, or they'll do something to cause themselves to get demoted. They might be late continuously, they might get sick, make a critical mistake, or they may simply leave the job as they don't enjoy it, or they find some flaw or problem with it. This form of self-sabotage happens unconsciously and repeatedly until it is changed. If a child watched one parent being abused emotionally by the other, then the child learns that is how relationships are. Unfortunately, they will then accept poor treatment from others as they don't realize that they deserve better or that there can be loving, safe interactions between people. They haven't seen that possibility. Worse, the parent who is constantly belittled is likely to withdraw from the child. They're likely to sink into depression, if not addiction, as a way to cope with their unhappy situation. So the child ends up becoming neglected as well as suffering from witnessing and receiving the emotional abuse. And if the parent sinks far enough into depression and doesn't have the strength to stand up for themselves or leave the relationship, then this destructive pattern can continue for years, and unfortunately it usually does. A child in such a situation can end up giving up hope. They may try really hard to be a good boy or girl in an attempt to make things better. They might try helping out around the house to make life easier for the parent and in an attempt to reduce the catalysts for fights. The child tries to be the peacekeeper, but when that doesn't work, they may try to rescue the parent or to help motivate them to leave or to stand up to the abusive one. But of course, the child is a child and they're acting more like an adult. They're trying to be the grown-up. But the abusive adult is stronger, more powerful, and can be vicious. And most times, the child is actually dependent on the abuser for their home, their food, and their other necessities. So they can't stand up to them. They can't win. It's a no-win situation. And in this situation, the child has lost the ability to be a child, to be spontaneous, to be innocent and playful and joyful and enjoy their childhood. Their thoughts are not about their friends, toys, school, sports, playing games, or having fun. Their thoughts are about survival and staying alive. And worse, it can be about keeping the depressed parent alive if that parent has got so low that they've attempted suicide as a way to escape the abuse. So the child, suffering from all of these challenges and these emotions and this overwhelm and this pain, can become numb. They can withdraw into themselves, into a shell of self-protection, and feel like they're simply going through the motions day after day, numb, withdrawn, alone, isolated. Their life can become a series of painful events, marked by even more painful events when the emotional abuser turns the focus on them and lets rip with a torrent of cruel and mean statements about the child. And as the child grows, they may come to hate the abusive parent. They may wish that that parent would die and even fantasize about hurting or killing that parent. This is just an attempt to gain back the power they have lost so that they can feel stronger, more independent, and not so crushed. Few would actually act out such a fantasy. It's just an emotional coping mechanism to imagine doing that. So emotional abuse is just as devastating to a child as other forms of abuse. It sets up similar fear patterns, mistrust patterns, and self-loathing patterns. And the damage does take years to heal. It will take many decades for the person to become fully aware of their conditioning, to feel and release the emotional pain and balance back up to a state of self-love. They'll have to learn to monitor and change their thoughts to be more loving and supportive ones. They'll need to change their subconscious beliefs, their programming, so that they do believe at the depth of their core that they are worthy of love, that they are a worthwhile human being, and that they deserve good things. It does take a lot of time to learn to be kind and loving to yourself, because this softness doesn't feel natural at first, because what you've witnessed growing up is harshness. So it takes time to become softer and kinder and loving and supportive to yourself, and for that to feel safe and acceptable. Keep practicing it until it does. Harder still will be the ability to trust other people. Mistrust can be so deep. Self-protection and isolation can be so automatic that it takes a lot of concerted effort to break free of it and to be able to risk letting people truly close and to let people truly know you. It'll take a lot of time for you to actually know yourself, to work out what you do like to do, what you're interested in, and what's fun for you. At first, this is such a foreign concept because life has actually been about struggle and survival and avoiding further abuse. It hasn't been about having fun or doing what you like. You haven't had that choice, that luxury to focus on that. And so as a part of the healing process, you have to learn how to have fun, how to do a hobby, and to relax and enjoy it. Our bodies are often armored, hard with locked up muscles from keeping all the pain inside. Our softness, our innocence, our beauty is buried beneath this armor, and we have to do the work to help the body relax and come out of its permanent state of fight, flight, and freeze. The body is also likely to be exhausted from the constant stress, trauma, and lack of exercise and good food. When we're locked in fear, the breath shallows, so we don't breathe as deeply, and the body therefore doesn't get as much oxygen. And with not getting enough oxygen, the body can't digest and absorb the nutrients from the food that we do eat as well as it could if it had more oxygen and more support. And so our adrenals get overworked and depleted as well due to all the fear and the stress and the trauma. And all of this results in fatigue and unfortunately can result in health issues. So part of looking after ourselves in this healing process is to ensure that we're eating good food, that we're taking the time to exercise, and we're doing the work to release the emotions so that our body can soften and that we can dissolve the armor and the trauma within. Your nervous system, if you've gone through emotional abuse and trauma and pain, is going to be in constant fight, flight, or freeze. It often is wound up tight, constantly activated, easily startled and jumpy, pumping adrenaline and cortisol through the body. If you feel like there's no hope and you've started to give up or shut down or numb out, then the body is pumped full of opioids to numb you. This is part of the normal process the nervous system uses to deal with trauma. It's the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems and how they deal and cope with overwhelm, pain, and trauma. So there are a range of actions that you can do to help your nervous system calm. Deep breaths automatically help our body to calm down and to come out of activation. Time in nature also helps. But what I've found the most powerful for myself personally is TRE, tension and trauma release exercises. And these are a series of exercises that activates the body's natural stress, tension, and trauma release mechanism so that the body completes the unfinished trauma reactions and returns to its normal calm state. It's well worth doing to help yourself to find greater peace. Once the nervous system calms and you're no longer in constant fight or flight, your mind will soften as your body will feel safer and your mind won't feel a need to be so defensive. So your defenses can then melt, and this enables you to open up to play, to softness, to enjoying life and interacting with others. There's so much that can be done to heal from childhood emotional abuse, but it does take a lot of time and effort. If you are going through this process, be as kind to yourself as you can and understand that you're undoing a lifetime of conditioning, and it's going to take time. Every step you take is helping, and every day you're getting a little bit better, a little bit healthier, even though sometimes you'll feel like another layer comes up and it becomes overwhelming again. Each bit that's coming out of your body is releasing, meaning that you're becoming lighter overall. So it is progress and it is healing. If you get discouraged, seek help. Join a support group, see a counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, a therapist of some type, or start a fun activity to help you balance up. Love yourself and your life will improve. It does take time, but it's well worth doing. Good luck. I know how hard the journey is, but I also know it can be done and that it's worth doing. Thank you for watching this short video on healing from emotional abuse. I hope you've found it interesting and insightful. It's my aim to empower people with the skills and knowledge to walk their healing journeys as gently and as peacefully as possible. There are over 100 of these answers to questions about life available for free on the Life Insights page of my website. Please visit to learn more about the healing journey and ways to live peacefully and happily. Have a great day. Many blessings. Bye.